Good morning. Let's start with next chapter today. That is chapter number 5, Footprints Without Feet. This chapter, if you have observed the outside cover of your book, second book, supplementary book, Footprints Without Feet, this title is same. The chapter's title is same as given on the outside cover of the book. Okay, can you link it that? Why this title is taken from one of the chapter outside the outside the cover of the book. So this is maybe because students, what happen in our lives, we have in our lives are always are we are having such imprints, such signs are there, such things are there which happens in our lives, but we are unaware of the presence of those things. So such things, but they leave impact on our lives. So some people come, they leave impact, they have such impression on our mind that we start following their ways. Okay, so same is the titles, that's why we can talk about this title is, that is the footprints without feet. It means something which is having a deep impact on your life. So that's why maybe this title outside is taken from this chapter only. So the important things, which whatever happens when we are not aware of the things, but they are imprinted on minds. That may be a number of good things that have effect on our minds, but maybe some bad experiences which have some effect on our minds, that badly affect the mind. So that's why this title is taken of the title is very important of this chapter. So you should write something about the title also whenever you do the questions. Okay, explain the justify the footprints without feet, the title of the chapter. So let's start with, this is written by H.G. Wells. Okay, we are going to start with this chapter today. Let's start. First slide now. The two boys started in surprise at the fresh muddy imprints of a pair of bare feet. So chapter starts when two boys, they saw something, that there were some feet were imprinted on the land somewhere, and when they observed, and but no one was there. Only this symptoms were there that someone was walking, but no one was walking actually, and some imprints only were created, some impressions of the feet were created. I like something, someone was walking, and the person was bare feet without having shoes, because or maybe the muddy feet were there, so it was imprinted on the, it was showing impression on the muddy area. So what was a barefooted man doing on the steps of the house in the middle of the London, and where was the man? So these boys were confused, they were surprised that who is this barefoot man who is walking in the street of the London, and where was the man, why only his feet were visible and he was not visible. As they gazed, when they were looking, a remarkable sight met their eyes. A fresh footmark appeared from nowhere. So when they saw footprints, impression of the feet were there, but no one was there. But then suddenly they observed that some more footprints were seen there on while walking, while as if someone was walking. So they could not understand what was happening. Now when they observed this, so further footprints allowed one after another. So now what was happening now? These boys, they were confused. Okay, and when they were confused, they don't want to they wanted to know what was the reason behind. So out of curiosity, they started following those footprints one after another, descending the steps and progressing down the street. The boys followed, fascinated, attracted towards the thing what was happening, until the muddy impressions became fainter and fainter, and at last these disappeared altogether. So they started following the imprints of those that person who's were there. They wanted to know who is walking and who is not visible to them. So but suddenly what happened, because it till now this mud was there on the feet, so feet were, impression of the feet were visible, but now these became dull. Now these were not seen anymore. The explanation of the mystery was really simple enough. The bewildered is confused boy had been following a scientist who had been discovered how to make human body transparent. So this was nothing but because they were surprised, but they did not know that they were following a scientist, a famous scientist, a man who had discovered to make the human body transparent, how to be invisible. So that formula he has got, and now he was applying over, but these boys did not know about, so they were following. Now then what happened after that? Griffin, and who was this scientist? This was Griffin. The scientist had carried out experiment after experiment to prove that the human body could become invisible. Finally he swallowed certain rare drugs. His body became as transparent as a sheet of glass, though it also remained as solid as a glass. So who was this scientist? It was Griffin. It was Griffin the scientist. So what formula he had discovered? Because he was a scientist, so he was making a discovery. A drug he discovered, a drugs he discovered, and that drugs when was swallowed by someone, so his body will become transparent. Though it will become, people will not be able to see it, it will become transparent, but it will remain solid also. You can touch it, but you can't see it. So he has discovered this formula. And now what happened then? After this, so now this was all he had experimented on himself only. Now let's see in the next line. So brilliant scientist though he was, though he, because he was a brilliant scientist, he had discovered this discovery first time he has made. So he was, Griffin was rather a lawless person, though he was great as a scientist, but he was a lawless man. Lawless is who denied, who forbid to accept the laws. So he was a person who was lawless, and his landlord disliked him. The person whose his house he has taken on rent, so his landlord, this man, he hated this man. He tried to eject him, and throw him out of his home. In revenge, Griffin set fire to the house. And so because he was of nature of lawless person, he wanted to have his revenge back from that person who wanted to throw him out of the house. So what he did, he set fire to his house. Okay, so when he set fire, to get away without being seen, he had to remove his clothes. Thus it was he became homeless wanderer, without clothes, without money, without quite invisible, until he happened to step in some mud and left footprints as he walked. So this happened because now he has what he has done, the crime he has done, he has burned the house of his landlord, and now he wanted to run away from there, and naturally he will run away, he will be caught. So what did he think? He drank that same drink, and now he took out his clothes. So when he took out his hat was invisible. When he took out his jacket, his whole body, jacket and pants and shoes, everything, when he took out, so he became totally invisible. So some people, those who saw him taking out something, if he was like a man who was walking without head, so this was felt by some people. So when he slowly taken out his clothes, so he was invisible totally, and it became difficult for anyone to hold him, because he was not seen by anyone where he was. So he escaped easily enough from the boys who followed his footprints in the London. So this was the reason, when he was moving, when he was wandering, moving without clothes in the street, and now he doesn't have any house to live. So there is, these boys have seen him, his footprints in the London, when he was moving on the street. And but his adventures were by no means over. He had chosen a bad time of the year to wander about London without clothes. It was midwinter. So but it was bad luck, but when he has run away from the house after setting fire in the house of the landlord, it was because midwinter, and naturally in the midwinter, if you are without clothes, so you won't be able to survive for more. So now he would have to protect himself, he would have to arrange some clothes, but he don't have anything, he doesn't have anything, because he has left that house now where he was living. So then instead of walking about the street, he decided to slip into big London store for warmth. So what he thought, that because he was invisible, so easily he will be able to enter in any store or anywhere he wanted to enter. So he thought that in a big London store he will go, and he will take some clothes from there, and then he will save himself from the cold. So this way he thought. Closing time arrived. As soon as the doors were shut, Griffin was able to give himself the pleasure of clothing and feeding himself without regard to expense. So naturally, without expense. Now he was invisible. He entered the store easily, and from there he can take clothes. He can feed also with food there, and without that also, even without money, without paying money, because he was invisible. So what he did, he broke upon the boxes, wrappers, fitted himself out with warm clothes. So what he did, he entered the big store. It was a big store where even the clothes were there, a small type of place it was. Clothes were there, eatables were there, everything he was able to get. So he broke the doors and boxes there, and then he took some warm clothes from there. Soon the shoes, an overcoat, a wide rimmed, wide edged hat, and became fully dressed, visible person. So because he was feeling cold, so he arranged a long coat for him, shoes for him, hat for him, overcoat for him. So all these things he arranged for him, and now he was feeling warm. And there was a kitchen also in that place, that store. So kitchen of the restaurant, there was a small restaurant. So he found cold meat there, coffee also. So he followed the meat, sweets, and wine taken from the grocery store. Finally, he settled down to sleep on a pile of quills. Okay, so that there he got some things to eat also, and there he got, because it was a store of selling everything, every required daily required things were available there. So he got a pile of quills there, the warm clothes. So he just slept there too, without any disturbance. He was sleeping because no one till now, maybe the store was closed, and he was there, only was there, so he was sleeping comfortably. If only Griffin had managed to wake up in the good time, all might have been well. As it was, he did not wake up until the assistants were already arriving next morning. Assistants, salesmen, sales persons, helpers of that store. So because he slept on that night, and he could not wake up in time, so in the morning he forgot that he was sleeping somewhere else. And when everyone came, the salespeople, salesmen came, and all the persons, the owner of the store came. So they saw a couple of them approaching. He panicked when he saw that number of people were coming. So he panicked. He started panicking. He was afraid. He was scared. So he became nervous. He began to run. He started running, and they naturally gave chase. So everyone started following him, that a man was inside the store and he may be a thief. So all started following him, and now in the end he was able to escape only by quickly taking off his newly found clothes. So once more he found himself invisible, but naked in the chill of January air. So naturally, when he had to save his life, so he was there alone, and till now there was no problem. But when everyone came, they thought that he was a thief. So now there was no other way. They might have caught him, may have handed over him to police. So now what he thought, again he, those clothes, warm clothes he got from there, he again he take out all those things from, naturally, and now he became invisible. And but again he was naked. Again there was a problem, and it was January, chill air was there, but again he was in problem. Without clothes he was running. So now this time he decided to try the stock of a theatrical company, in hope of finding not only the clothes, but also something that would hide the empty space above his shoulders. And shivering with cold, he hurried to Drury Lane, the center of the theatre world. Now he was again in the problem, without clothes, in the cold. Now again he need to save himself from the chill air. So what he thought? He thought that now he will go to a theatrical company, because he has drank such a liquid which made his body invisible. If he does not wear anything on his face, or does not cover his eyes or anything, or head or hands or everything, if he doesn't cover, so what will happen, that part will remain invisible. Even if he is able to wear the clothes and pants and other hats, but his face will remain invisible. So what he thought, that he will go to theatrical company, because in theater people use all the artificial things. Okay, so he will be able to get all the things required to cover his eyes, face, head and all. And there, then he thought, and then he, Drury Lane, center of the theater world he got. So he went there, and now he wanted to arrange some more things for him. So now he soon found a suitable zone. So now his search was over. He was able to find a suitable shop. He got a shop. He made his way invisible upstairs, came out a little later wearing bandages around his forehead, dark glasses, false nose, big bushy side whiskers, a large hat to escape. Without being seen, he carelessly attacked the shopkeeper from the behind, after which he robbed him all the money he could find. Okay, so this is carelessly is in an insensitive way, badly. So what he did, he got the theatrical company, and from here bandages, some bandages were there with which he covered his mouth, and he covered the mouth, and some dark glasses he got. The nose also naturally was to be covered, so false nose he got from there, bushy whiskers he got from there, a hat also. So all these things he got, and there was a shopkeeper sitting. He hit him badly and robbed all his money, took out all his money from there, and then he ran away from there. So now he wanted to get away of the public, because naturally there will be hue and cry over the theft. So eager to get away from the crowded London, he took a train to village of Iping. So now this is again he is trying to save himself. So what he thought, that now he will be going away from this place, and how he will go away from this place, that eager to get away from the crowded, he took a train to the village. There was a village Iping, where he booked 2 rooms at a hotel inn. There was a inn is a place to stay, where eatables are also there, you can get, and there is some staying you get a room also. So he went to the inn in that village, in Iping village. So the arrival of a stranger in the winter was any case an unusual event. Normally no one came in during winter time there. So but this man, he was there, he came there. So now he was in the inn, and this unusual event, people, maybe they were suspicious, the owner of the inn was suspicious about that, how in winter this man has come here, but because they wanted the money there as a rent, so there was no problem. A stranger of such common us so a stranger of such uncommon appearance at all, tongues wagging, Mrs. Hall, the landlord's wife, made every effort to be friendly. But Griffin had no desire to talk to her. My reason for coming to Iping is a desire for solitude. Solitude is loneliness. I don't want to be disturbed in my work. Besides, an accident has affected my face. So now, who are the persons here? Another character we are getting, Mrs. Hall. So this house was of Mrs. Owner. The owner were Mr. and Mrs. Hall. Okay, so these were the landlords. Now she was the wife, and she, because she wanted to be friendly with this man, because he was going to stay in their house. But this man, he was very strange. He doesn't want it to talk. He said, I want solitude, I want loneliness, I don't want any disturbance in my way, so I don't want to contact more with you people, let me stay calm there in peace. So this way he talked with rudely with this lady. And besides, what how he has explained, because his face was covered with bandages, so he's explained that in accident something happened with me and my face was spoiled, so that's why I have wrapped these bandages on my face. So satisfied now, this lady, Mrs. Hall, she was satisfied. She satisfied that guest was an eccentric scientist, eccentric, some person who is crazy, strange person, because she thought this man was a crazy person. So in view of the fact, he paid her in advance also. So she was paid in advance. The money was because he has robbed the man for money he has already taken, so he was having the money. He paid her in advance that let me stay in peace, and Mrs. Hall was happy, satisfied. She thought that I have got the money in advance, so what's the problem? So she didn't say anything to him. Mrs. Hall was prepared to excuse this strange habit of irritated temper, though he was irritated in temper, very short tempered he was. But she forgave, because in advance the money was paid to her. But money stolen did not last long, and presently Griffin had to admit that he had no more ready cash. He pretended, however, that he was expecting a check to arrive at any moment. So now, naturally, it was money which was robbed, and robbed money only for some time he will be able to use. Otherwise, again he was left without money. So how he explained this to the innkeeper, to the people, to the owner? He said, "I'm going to get some money. Expected check is to come, so I will give you money later on." So this way he explained. So now what happened? Shortly afterwards, a curious episode occurred. So after this, later on, after some time, something strange happened there. Very early in the morning, a clergyman and his wife were awakened by a noise in the study. Creeping downstairs, they heard the chink of money being taken from the clergyman's desk. Without making any noise and with a poker grasp firmly in his hand, the clergyman flung open the door, surrendered. So again, naturally he needed money, and for when Griffin will be needing money, so what he will do now, again he will steal, because now he is misusing his powers. He know he is invisible, and now he can do anything anywhere. So this way, same thing he is doing here also. He tried to steal the money from the clergyman, from those people where he was staying. So a number of other people were also staying there. So what he did, he took out some money from the house from anywhere, in a clergyman who was staying there from his home. He took some money out of the desk, whatever money was kept. And this clergyman, when he heard some sound, like as something, someone is taking money out of his desk, he heard the sound. So he reached to his room, and when he reached there, then what he saw, a poker. Let me explain you. This, a poker is a metal rod. So with a metal rod, he thought that he will be able to catch hold of the thief, and he will attack over him. So when he said surrender, when he went inside, surrender, he's asking this man, whoever was there, to surrender, but there was no one. When he saw there was no one, so he was very surprised. So then, to his amazement, he was surprised that the room was appeared to be empty. He and his wife looked under the desk, behind the curtains, even up the chimneys. There wasn't any sign of anybody. Yet the desk has been opened, and the housekeeping money was missing. Extraordinary affair, the clergyman kept saying for the rest of the day. So they could not understand. They tried to search this man. There was no one. That who, without, though they knew some money was stolen from the desk, but who had stolen? They were not able to see anyone. So they tried to see under the chimneys, even desks, chimneys, everywhere they saw maybe someone is hiding there, but there was no. So for them it was an extraordinary affair, something which unusual, which was happening in their house, which should not have happened. So now, but now what happened? But it was not an extraordinary as the behavior of Mrs. Hall's furniture a little later that morning. So the clergyman who was living in their house, this happened. Money was taken from their room, and now something more extraordinary happened. Where in Mrs. Hall's room, her furniture was creating some problem. What was that? The landlord and his wife, they were up early and were surprised to see the scientist's door wide open. Usually it was shut and locked, and then he was furious. Furious is angry if anyone entered the room. So what they saw unusual was that they saw that Griffin's room was uh, the door was of his room was open. Otherwise he never keep it open. He always closed it, and because he was angry whenever anyone entered to his room. So opportunity seemed too good to be missed. So they wanted to see that, actually they were curious to know why he always keep the door closed. So they went inside. What they saw, they peeped round the door, so, and nobody decided to investigate, because there was Griffin was not in the room. So they tried to investigate to see that what happened in his room. So his bedclothes were cold. They touched the bed sheets of the bed. These were cold. Naturally, when someone is lying over it, it will become some warmth will be there. But these were cold, because as if no one has slept over the bed for the night. So showing the scientist must have been for some time. The stranger still the clothes and bandages he always wore were lying about in the room. So what they saw, that there was no one, but all the bandages which he wore on his face and the clothes he used to wear, these all were lying here and there. These all were lying here and there. So for them it was a matter of surprise. They could not understand actually what happened. So now, so what happened now? Mrs. Hall, who was curious to know about this man, suddenly what she heard, all of a sudden, Mrs. Hall heard a sniff close to her ear, as if something was sniffing, some sneezing near to taking breathe. Sniff is taking deep breath near her ear. She thought someone was standing near her, and he was breathing deeply. A moment later, the hat on the bedpost leapt upon, jumped upon, dashed itself on her face. So what happened suddenly? The hat itself, it jumped out of the bed and it attacked over her face, and then the bedroom chair became alive, and then chair also, it started behaving same, it became alive as if it was alive, it was not a dead thing. Springing into the air, it charged straight on her, legs foremost, and the chair attacked over it itself. They could not understand what was happening her with her furniture. She and her husband turned away in terror. They were frightened. Naturally, someone will be frightened that what was all this happening. Something horrible, something haunted was happening. The extraordinary chair pushed them both out of the room, then appeared to slam, locked the door after them. So when they run away out of the home, they run away out of this room, they wanted to go away, so the door itself, it closed, and it was a matter of surprise. Mrs. Hall almost fell down the stairs in hysterics. She was frightened. She was as if she was going to be fainted. She was shocked to see such scene, and she was feeling as if she will be falling down from the stairs. She was convinced that the room was haunted by spirits. So what idea came in her mind? She could not suspect that someone can be invisible. So what she thought, that there may be a ghost in the house, which was haunting this their house, and it has entered into the furniture, and the stranger had somehow caused these to enter into the furniture. And what they were suspicious about Griffin, that Griffin, maybe he was using some magic, he was a magician, he was using some witchcraft, and maybe he has entered this ghost, these ghosts in their rooms. So they were suspicious about him. So now what happened then later on? So she was surprised. Now how did she react? My poor mother used to sit, mother used to sit in the chair. Now she is saying that my mother used to sit in this chair. She started weeping. She was shocked that this is my favorite chair because my mother used to sit over it. She moaned. She started crying and weeping. I think it should rise up against me now. Now saying, I can't believe that the chair is now against me. It is revolting. It is attacking over me. The feeling among the neighbors was that trouble was caused by the witchcraft. So all the neighbors and everyone was thinking that it was a witchcraft, something haunted about ghost or something, some magic was done within the house. So by the witchcraft or not, when the news of the burglary is the theft of the clergyman home became known. So now naturally, so all was showed that this was something, a witchcraft, a magic was done by this man Griffin, and he was the only person who was doing all. So now things started happening again when the news of burglary of clergy. Naturally, when theft was being done in clergyman's house, so police will be reaching on the scene, and everyone will be finding out the reasons what happened. So the scientist was strongly suspected of having had a hand in it. So naturally, when in the home of Mrs. Hall also something strange was happening. So and the theft also, both the things now were linked by the people. They thought that the suspicious was towards, now suspicion, became suspicious about this man Griffin, because he now grew even stronger. He suddenly produced some ready cash, though he admitted that not long before he had money. So the suspect became more suspected, because the reason was that 2 days, maybe some days ago, he was saying he didn't have any money, and now he gave money of the rent to Mrs. Hall also. So they were more suspected about this man now, that maybe he has stolen the money from this clergyman's house also. So the village constable, the police was called there to search, to investigate into this matter. So it was secretly sent for. So secretly this constable was asked. Instead of waiting for the constable, Mrs. Hall went to the scientist, who had somehow mysterious appeared from his empty bedroom. because when they went into the room of her to see of him to see, there was no one. And but he later on, when they were outside, this man came out of that same room. So they were very suspicious about, they were very even frightened about the situation, that what all this was happening. So I want to know that you have been doing in to my chair upstairs, she demanded, and I want to know how it is you who came out of an empty room, how you entered a locked room. So this lady, she started asking questions from Griffin, that where were you and what were you doing with my furniture and how you came, you were not in the room, then how did you come? So she herself, she could not stop herself, she started investigating herself before the policeman came to her house. Now when the scientist, now because he was quick tempered, he was short tempered, he became angry on anything anytime. So he was quick tempered, and now he became furious, he became angry. He was angry that the lady was asking such questions to her. You don't understand who or what I am, he shouted. Well, I will show you. So now, because he became overconfident of the situation, arrogant of the situation, that no one can hold over him, so he became arrogant. And now he said, do you know who I am? Let me show who I am. Suddenly he threw out the threw off the bandages, whiskers, spectacles, even nose. It took him only a minute to do this, and the horrified people in the bar found themselves staring at the headless man. Mr. Zephyr, the constable, now arrived, and now naturally, when because he now wanted to show these people that see who I am, and naturally he was caught also. Now he can't stay on this place, so he took out all his bandages, clothes and everything. And then what happened, he became a headless. When he took out the bandages first, he became a headless man. And naturally, when everyone is seeing towards this headless man, and they were horrified that what was this happening. So then this constable also came there, Mr. Zephyr. Mr. Zephyr, the name of the constable was Mr. Zephyr. So he reached there now. He arrived and quite surprised to find that he had to arrest a man without head. He was surprised that there was a man standing who was headless. So, but Mr. Zephyr was not easily prevented from doing his duty. He was a man, dutiful man, who wanted to do his duty at any cost. He was not afraid. So nothing can prevent him from doing his duty. So it's a magistrate's warrant ordered a person's arrest. Then a person had to be arrested, and with or without head. So what he said, that this is the order of the law, order of the law court, and he can't, whether this is a man is headless or with head, I will be arresting this man. So he was very determined about that. So now he there followed a remarkable scene. So there are something remarkable happened on the scene. So what was that? As this policeman, he tried to get hold of the man who was becoming more and more invisible as he threw off one garment after another. So what was happening when he tried to hold this man who was without hand? So what happened, because Griffin now started taking out his clothes. Okay, so now again he was becoming invisible, so it was difficult for him to hold now a man who was becoming invisible. Finally the shirt he was wearing, it was also thrown away, and the constable found himself struggling with someone he could not see. So though he could, because the body was solid, he tried to hold this man, but he did not know who this man was there, how did he look like, but he was trying to struggle. This man was also fighting, Griffin was also maybe fighting with him, giving to save himself, to run away from there. So some people try to help him, people try to help, but they found themselves by the blows that seemed to come from nowhere. So the people tried to help the constable, because Griffin was not now visible, so he was hitting over every people one there. So they are trying to hit him, and naturally he could not be held by anyone. So all were surprised and then in the end, Mr. Zephyr was knocked unconscious. He made a last attempt to hold on the unseen scientist. So it was then in the last, the constable, Griffin attacked badly over him, and he fell unconscious. And there were nervous, excited cries of hold him, but this was easier said than done. Griffin had shaken himself free, and no one knew where to lay hands on him. Naturally, he was invisible. People wanted to hold him. People have maybe understood that he was a man who was invisible, and this was the problem were created for him by him only. So they wanted to hold him. So everyone tried to hold over, but invisible, because he could not be seen by anyone, and he ran away from there, and he was saved. Okay, so this is the chapter. Okay, do the question answers also, try question answers. You have to justify the title also, and then character sketch of Griffin you will be writing, and NCERT questions as well. Okay, thank you.